Hey guys, Liana here. Yeah, Feedback Friday is gonna be a real barn burner this week. The comments from yesterday's video are already just peachy. So I thought I'd completely change gears and show you guys a bit of the original Gabriel Knight. Because it really seems to me like some of this earlier gaming history is getting lost in terms of the consciousness of the majority of gamers now. And so even though these videos don't tend to do especially well for me, I feel compelled to do them because there seems to be this gulf in knowledge about portions of video game history around the early 90s because of the pivot away from PC and arcade into console dominance. And of course, you know, the year 1993, 1994, they're more known for things like Mortal Kombat and Doom and less for things like Gabriel Knight. But Gabriel Knight was a gutsy, moody, risky game for its day. And I really think that more people should be aware of it, in part because it was designed by a woman. And, you know, that's not the reason I recommend the game. I didn't know that when I originally played the game. But the thing that's interesting about the original Gabriel Knight, and I've been powering through it, I had to prepare for an interview with the creator of this game. And I wanted to remember what I was talking about because it had been a while. And what I was struck by was the reality that Gabriel Knight probably couldn't be made today for numerous reasons. I mean, the outrage police would just have a field day with this game. And, you know, part of it is it's set in New Orleans, and so they actually have Black Creole characters, and that's where you get into, is it character or caricature? But let me get into the game and show you guys some of the things I'm talking about. All right, I'm in the school. One of the things that is what we would consider problematic today about Gabriel Knight is the character of the main character, that he's a dirty pig. And it's part of the story, it's part of the characterization of the main character. But this character point would be seen...
do anything with the chancellor.
Now, did you guys hear that voice? I'll give you the narrator voice a few times.
Why do that with the cherub?
Can you hear that? I'll give you a little bit more.
Why do that with the cherub?
Yeah, I'll give you a bit more, a few more samples.
There is nothing to open or close there.
Now, this voice actress is Virginia Capers. Who exactly? She was born in 1925. Okay.
Gabriel cannot do that with the flags.
And she was a musician. She went to Juilliard, and she did Broadway stuff. She's one of the things she's known for is the musical version of, it's a musical called Raisin, which was a musical version of Raisin in the Sun.
Gabriel cannot do anything with the chancellor.
But could you imagine if somebody made a game with this voice today? It would be pilloried, right? And I mean, the actress herself found herself typecast as, you know, the maid or the domestic or, you know, the single mom. And so to me, the fact that she was cast as, oh, Gabriel's going to confession, this is bad, that she was cast as a narrator, which is a position of power in a lot of, whoa, hey, What's he gonna
I'd like
confess?
to make a confession.
All right, if it will make you feel better.
I haven't paid my assistant for 3 months.
Have you had the money?
Nope.
Sounds like a matter for the courts.
Slam.
Not
He's a bit of a scumbag.
Is there anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Goodbye then.
And for those of you who don't know, Gabriel Knight is voiced by Tim Curry, putting on this Louisiana drawl. And, I find that...
Tunnel behind.
Where are you, dude? That just blows me away every time. Mark Hamill does a voice in this game as well. But I mean, there's so many elements of this game that, fans of it.
Gabriel cannot go in there. That's
Well, fine. There's so many parts of this that fans who remember when this game came out were like, whoa, I can't believe they did that back in
May I
1993.
help you, my child?
But in a lot of ways,
Can I ask you a few questions?
that's Tim
The
Curry.
confessional is not the best place for interviews, son. You can contact the...
I understand.
Is there...
I'll
Could
take a
you give-
blessing.
Do you feel the need for a blessing, son?
You wouldn't believe.
All right.
the priest bless.
Peace be...
Thank
All right. So
That doesn't.
the thing is that Sierra as a game company was known for giving their designers incredible creative control. If the game didn't sell, they wouldn't get to make another one, but they weren't told what to do. And that led to some very cool experimental stuff. And that I think is an important thing to understand when we try to contextualize modern gaming stuff. Where the heck am I? And I mean it dealt with voodoo in the 90s, and they don't do a bad job, all things considered. I've seen far less good elements of far less good interpretations of
Nothing on
voodoo.
that shit.
And can I take the cross?
The crucifix might come in handy.
Ah, snap.
I can't resist.
Wait.
Black.
He won't take
Gabriel
the
cannot.
he won't take the cross, but he'll steal the priest's garments. And see, that kind of makes sense if you know anything about Gabriel Knight. But what did that end up picking up? I got
It's a priest's shirt.
all right, I got a pre-shirt. But nowadays people would be worried about a backlash and political correctness and whether it was gonna sell or all this stuff. And
Well, you never know when a priest's
Back
collar will
then?
come in handy.
they just did this stuff. There was this raw creativity that I feel has sort of fallen out of games, even in the indie sphere, because in the indie sphere, too many people are trying to make some sort of point instead of just trying to tell a good story. And I'm all for relevance, but I think there's a difference between relevance and lecturing. You know what I'm saying? And so I found myself more and more going back to these older games just because, there's a purity to them that we don't have now. And yeah, there's a navigation map and the whole thing. And okay, the reason this is a dog is you find out where this residence is. You get it revealed on the map by basically going through the phone book, something that doesn't exist anymore. Well, phone books exist, but not the way they did. But you go through the phone book and con the address out of people using her dog. That's why the icon is a dog. And so now he's, disguising himself as a priest. Would this happen in this day and age? I don't know.
All right, but this is private.
See, there was a sense of innocence about these games, and yet they really went for it. And part of it was because, I don't know if you can see up here, this was in the age of dumb icons, meaning it wasn't context sensitive. You had to decide, okay, I want to knock on the door. Well, I'm not going to take the door and I'm not going to open the door. I'm going to operate the door. And that was how you got it to work.
Yes. Who is it?
And there's a doggy. Yeah, that's a dog. Is he
It's
going to do an
Father
accent?
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Father McLaughlin, you say?
How come everyone,
You
when
must
they
be new
do...
in the parish.
I'll wait for this lady
I'm so
to talk.
pleased to meet you, Father. Do come in.
Thank you, my child.
How come every time someone does an Irish accent in something, they pop the pitch of their voice? It's not top of the morning to you. It's top of the morning to you. Like, why does it always pop up? It's amusing to me. It's just sort of expected that someone's Irish, they have a higher
Please be
voice.
seated, Father.
Okay, this lady's really
Thank you.
religious.
Now, what can I do for you?
But that's a little bit of Gabriel Knight, just for some context. And like I said, I'm going to be interviewing the creator for CG Magazine, which I'm stoked about. I'd love to do a whole documentary on these older creators. See, to talk to this person, you have to go to the talk thing, and there's a question button and then an interrogate button, and you have to know which one to use. But I'll wrap up here. I'm just really excited. I wanted to give you guys this little piece of history, because more and more I'm realizing that a lot of these really culture war-y fights in gaming are probably connected to just sheer ignorance of where gaming came from and where some of the roots of some of this stuff are. Now, that doesn't mean that people don't have a point. It just means that their sense of vulnerability or their sense of being besieged comes across as very strange to those of us who have been around a while. And it's, I'm just doing this because this stuff is gotta become more productive somehow for the good of gaming and for the good of people who play games. Because I don't know of anybody who's having fun talking about games on the internet with the way things are. It's tiring and it's a constant source of frustration. Even more so when we had games like this where, oh, heaven forbid, there's an actual black woman probably punching up a Creole accent, but they still cast a black person for that role. This game also included, what's his name? The guy who plays Lee in The Walking Dead. And then Rocky Carroll is a voice in this. Michael Dorn is in it. The guy who played Worf. It's the cast on this game is what would be considered diversity today, but I'm pretty sure the game would still get heavily criticized, and that makes me very sad, because everything has to start somewhere, and I think that people get less likely to include people who are different when they're afraid that one wrong move, one misspeak will cause this huge blow up and get them labeled a racist or whatever is you want. And my personal prediction is that this outrage wave has crested. We're at the absolute worst point right now. in terms of censorship and in terms of, and I'm just not making it do anything because then it'll start talking and talk over me, and I want you guys to hear this bit. But I think things are going to gradually and possibly very gradually start calming down, because we went through a wave like this in the 1990s as well, and everybody got sick of it. And everybody eventually went, well, screw it, we're just going to do it anyway, you know, and scream and yell all you want, because you'll scream and yell anyway. And I'm really at that point with both sides of this ridiculous game culture war. It is ridiculous at this point when people go after Troy Baker just because of one comment, assuming he's hateful, and then they'll say, we know he's not hateful, he's just transphobic. Well, transphobia implies hatred, folks. You can't throw words like that around and just expect it to be okay, you know? And on the other side, you can't go around and accuse people of straw man arguments and this and that, and moving the goalposts and the whole thing, unless you're sure that's actually what they're doing. And this is why I said Feedback Friday is going to be a barn burner this week, because more than one person on yesterday's video created a straw man argument to accuse me of a straw man argument. They actually manipulated what I was saying to make me easier to attack by accusing me of manipulating something to make a position easier to attack. That's what a straw man argument is. It's claiming you're fighting something that doesn't exist, or something that exists so in such a flimsy way. And so, like I said, it's gonna be special. So I wanted to provide context to the games I play, because I'm tired of being treated like I'm this sensitive, politically correct little flower that needs constant smacks to toughen up. I'm not. I have a very risque sense of humor, and I like things that challenge. I don't mind offensive content as long as it's not hateful. I think there's a difference between something being offensive and something being hateful, and I think that the wrong things are considered offensive. I think that this whole idea that somebody just not knowing what word to use is considered offensive, but you know, the idea that you can attack people in a pack of, 20 strong just because they didn't know, that's offensive to me. And then people start throwing that Stephen Fry quote around. Here's the thing about that Stephen Fry quote. Okay, it's overused. That thing about, that's offensive to me, it's a nonsense phrase and it means nothing. Stephen Fry got offended enough to speak out about, the treatment of gays in Russia. And that doesn't affect him as an Englishman. He was offended by the fact that something went on in the world. What it meant was, what his quote means to me about being offended is, being offended is not enough. You have to be able to articulate why you think something is wrong. He wasn't speaking out against the entire concept of something being abhorrent or something being morally objectionable. He was saying you need more than just your feelings. And that's going to likely be a heavy topic on Friday, because I am really, really, really tired of people acting like babies and then expecting to be accommodated. If you can't take a joke, that's not my problem. If you don't see that sometimes things are not making fun of someone, they are trying to be inclusive in an awkward way, well, I think people need to grow a sense of humor and then, come back and look at things through the eyes of someone who's not looking to attack. And this is the problem when people get on these outrage bandwagons, right? It feels really good as they're going. And then it starts to ebb. Then the excitement starts to ebb. And then that internal dialogue starts. Should I have done that? Was I too rough on that person? Did I do something wrong? Did I really have to go at someone that hard? And then the self-loathing builds up. And then they have to attack someone else again to get that rush so they don't have to think about the consequences of the multiple waves of attacks that they're part of. And I'm speculating. I don't know what drives these people. It's the only thing I can think of because I'm seeing it over and over and over again. My Twitter and Facebook feeds are full. My YouTube comments are full. I don't even bother going to Reddit anymore because it's full too of people just constantly unhappy about something. And if you want to talk about games, but talk about the games you like. I would love to hear the games people like. The only game that people constantly are positive about with me is Wolfenstein. So I bought it, yay, on a sale, and I'm going to try it because, hey, people were positive about that game. That's great. And I know King's Quest was out yesterday, but I didn't get a review copy of that game, and I didn't get an interview for that game. And so my priorities are games, my priorities professionally are games that publicists are willing to work with me with, and games I'm just playing for my own personal entertainment have to wait. So sorry, King's Quest. Sorry, gentlemen. Activision did not get me a code. They did not get me access. So I have to wait until there's time to provide coverage there. And when I try to do raw Let's Plays, people don't pay attention anyway. So I actually have to play the game before I talk about it. There has to be something relevant or I get lousy view counts. So that's this. I just wanted to show you guys a bit of Gabriel Knight without spoilers, just to make you guys aware of it and hopefully make you curious about it, because now it's out on, a 20th anniversary edition, on PC and on Android and iOS. And it really is a lovely little bit of gaming history. So, and it looks better than this. This is the original. I like the originals. I'm old, okay? I like these old originals. I don't like the remasters if the originals are available. Partially because the originals are so much cheaper. Why would I pay $20 to play a game when I can get it for $5 and it's the same story? And I like the old gameplay. It's clunky, but it's sort of like a walk down memory lane. Because I remember when this was the thing, right? Anyway, guys, happy Wednesday. Take care.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon